You must certainly already have some thoughts about me based on what I decided to wear today. That is your impression of me. A picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So my outfit speaks louder than me then. My choice of clothing matches more than what I say and what I do. No. No, it doesn't. Or at least it shouldn't. It is instinctual to make an opinion about someone, but it is a choice whether or not to judge a person based on what he or she wears. To be honest, at first I had serious doubts about whether I should apply for TEDxLCCUniversity and whether I should proceed with my topic. I thought that everyone already knows everything about slut-shaming, and there isn't really anything new I have to say. I thought, come on, who doesn't know how horrible slut-shaming is? Then I still submitted my application and I got in. With all the excitement I felt at that moment, I wanted to share it with my family. So naturally, when I said that I got accepted to this event, my aunt asked me what I was going to talk about, and I said slut-shaming. Then my aunt asked me to clarify what slut-shaming was, and I told her that it is a way society decreases women's value because of their choice of clothes or their type of behavior. My aunt looked at me and said, "Oh, so you think it is all right when women dress up like sluts?" At that moment, I realized that I really need to educate people on this topic, especially my aunt, with her being a mom of a newborn girl that she was about to bring up and release to society. You see, I honestly believe that the education we get from our surrounding as we grow up plays a significant role in our perception of ourselves as teenagers and adults. Therefore, the only way to get tolerant and sympathetic Generation Alpha is to convince their parents of the truthfulness of these ideas. What I want to do is to make this world a safer place for little girls and boys who want to express themselves in a way society isn't used to seeing. I want my cousin to be confident and assertive young woman when she grows up, surrounded by people who support her personal style and who do not tell her to hide her body in order to protect her. All of us can wear whatever we want, and it would be just amazing if we feel safe doing it. By definition from Oxford Dictionary, a slut is a woman that has many casual sexual partners. But it is also a common belief that slut is a synonym for a prostitute, a sex worker. However, nowadays, slut-shaming happens on a daily basis to girls who most often have nothing to do with prostitution. Victims of slut-shaming happen to be usual individuals who failed to fit into society's frame of sexy, but not too sexy. You wear tight and short clothes, heels with red lipstick or a deep neckline, you are a trick to be shamed too. In 1999, in Sweden, there was created a Nordic model approach to prostitution, also known as the Swedish model, which is basically a set of rules and laws providing defense and expanding rights for sex workers. So, if there is equality and protection for a prostitute woman, why isn't there anything for a woman who simply dresses like one? In 2011, a transnational movement named Slutwalk was founded. Slutwalk takes the form of a march. It speaks for the problem of gender inequality and is calling for an end of the rape culture, including victim blaming and slut-shaming. The poster of Slutwalk 2015 says, "Join the movement, make a statement, wear what you want. Your body, your choice." The latest Slutwalk included 20,000 people, and a big percentage of women on this parade wore clothes that would normally be defined as promiscuous. Some of the women use their own bodies to communicate a message that clothing and appearance in general are not provoking. Slut walk got viral, and many countries around the world have already hosted this march, but the very first one took place in Toronto, Canada, after a Toronto police officer told a group of students at a campus during safety information session that if they wanted to avoid being sexually assaulted, they simply shouldn't dress like sluts. The reason those women gather together and spend the whole day screaming about gender inequality is to show how much unsafe we feel being in a company of males. Harassment and shaming and bullying might not be something women face every day, but it is something we always keep in mind. And in the morning, just before I leave my room, I look in the mirror at my clothes and I can't help wondering if I'm going to be slut-shamed today. Even though slut-shaming is a common problem, an overwhelming majority of victims of this kind of sexual harassment are women. And if you pay enough attention, the definition of every synonym of the word slut starts with a woman that. It is just another evidence of double standards we as a society have. Have you ever heard a man being slut-shamed for having multiple sexual partners? The worst thing about all of it is that women slut-shame other women just as much as men do. Now, it may be happening because girls feel like they're competitive with each other, or it may be because girls try to fit into society and they feel like the only way to do this is to keep their head down and do what others do. Point fingers. It does not matter why it happens, and I do not care why you do this. It has to stop. Right now, I want all of you to imagine a slut. What does she look like? What is she wearing? Does she have the face of someone you know? You see, I have recently found out that the stereotype representation of how a slut looks varies from country to country. Different peoples have different norms of appropriate and therefore different image of an individual who falls under the definition of a promiscuous one. As a result, all of you might have just imagined completely different people. But if all of us have unlike frames of what is appropriate, then is it correct to say that our worldview influences our perception of a woman's body and that our cultural differences are at fault of slut-shaming? It is obvious that each country has its own unique culture, and it would be just hilarious and egocentric to try to tell others how they should live and what they should think. But standing aside and watching these cultural differences become an excuse for sexual harassment is nonsense. We are all people. But besides that, we are also something more. We are students, professors, waiters, or taxi drivers. And these titles come with a certain amount of responsibility as well as expectations. If I want to make an impression of a decisive, serious, and mature individual, I should dress up according to this style. And if I want to show how much I don't care about life and hierarchy, I should dress up in a way that will speak about it for me. But once again, clothes are simply an instrument of creating an image and a way of communicating your identity to the world. They do not define us, and they do not give us permission to bully people. There is a procedure I call self-care, a compromise, if you can call it that. Everyone is free to wear whatever he or she wants, taking responsibility for the image he or she creates for him or herself. And everyone else has to simply copy with this personal choice. There is no acceptable way to express your indignation or irritation with someone's appearance, because people do not dress to impress others. We dress for ourselves, to feel comfortable and confident. Now, let me adjust my outfit a little bit. How do you like this? Do you feel more comfortable looking at me now? What would be your opinion about me if I came out dressed like this in the very beginning? Without thinking about it, we judge people. It happens involuntarily. But I think it is time to take control over our emotions. Now look at yourself. What did you decide to wear today? Were you trying to communicate something with your outfit as you were getting ready for this event, or did you just put on the first thing you saw in your closet? Our style is an important part of our personality that can say a lot about each of us. And it took me quite some time to realize that I can wear whichever I want and still fight for international freedom of choice and intergender safety. So next time you see a girl wearing fishnet tights or a tight skirt or whatever else society has proclaimed slutty, smile to her. Thanks to that girl and thousands of others like her, this world is getting better. Society made a rule that it is unacceptable to wear revealing clothes. But we are society. We make rules. This world bends to the majority, so join the fight. I will see you all at the next slut walk. Thank you.